The Hunter and the Mysterious Antelope. In the peaceful Igbo village of Uman, life was simple and predictable. The villagers rose with the sun to tend their farms, fetch water from the clear stream, and tell stories under the shade of the great Irako tree in the evenings. Among them was a young hunter named Obinna, known for his charm and his tales of daring adventures. However, Obinna's stories, though entertaining, were often exaggerated. He spoke of wrestling lions, outsmarting leopards, and chasing elephants, yet no one ever saw proof of his feats. Elders like Papa Naji warned him, "Obinna, a hunter's strength lies in truth, not tales." But Obinna dismissed their words, enjoying the attention and admiration his stories brought. His friends often asked for details of his exploits, and Obinna, fueled by their interest, only grew bolder in his fabrications. One day, strange noises began to emanate from the forbidden forest on the outskirts of the village. The forest was a place of mystery, whispered about in hushed tones. It was said to be home to spirits, magical creatures, and dangers beyond imagination. The elders gathered under the Irako tree and warned the villagers to stay away. "Whatever stirs in the forbidden forest is not for man to face," they declared. But Obinna saw this as an opportunity to prove his bravery, or at least to appear braver than anyone else. "I will go," he announced in the village square. "I will discover what lies within and return with a tale that will silence all doubts about me." The villagers, though skeptical, were intrigued. The next morning, armed with his spear and a small bag of provisions, Obinna set out. The path into the forest was overgrown and eerie. The trees were tall and gnarled, their branches intertwining to block out much of the sunlight. Strange calls echoed in the distance, and the air was thick with the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers. As Obinna ventured deeper, he spotted movement ahead. There, by a sparkling stream, stood a creature unlike any he had ever seen. It was an antelope, but not an ordinary one. Its fur shimmered like gold, and its eyes glowed with a light that seemed to pierce into his soul. The antelope stared at him for a moment, then turned and leapt gracefully away. Without hesitation, Obinna gave chase. "This will be my greatest tale," he thought, imagining the admiration he would receive upon capturing such a creature. But the antelope was swift and clever, leading him through thickets, over streams, and into parts of the forest he had never seen. As the sun began to set, Obinna realized he was lost. The forest grew darker, and the sounds of nocturnal creatures emerged. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes made him freeze. A leopard, its golden eyes gleaming, emerged and snarled. Obinna gripped his spear tightly as the leopard crouched, ready to pounce. The battle was fierce. Obinna's spear grazed the leopard, but it swiped at him with sharp claws, tearing his tunic. Summoning all his strength, he thrust his spear, and the leopard let out a roar before retreating into the shadows. Shaken and wounded, Obinna leaned against a tree, his breathing heavy. Before he could recover, a deep, hissing sound reached his ears. A massive python, its body as thick as a tree trunk, slithered into view. It coiled around a nearby tree, its head swaying as it stared at him. Obinna, exhausted, raised his spear again, but before he could strike, a voice called out. "Obinna," it said, calm yet commanding. He turned to see an old man, ghostly and translucent, standing in a clearing bathed in moonlight. The man wore traditional Igbo attire and leaned on a staff. "Why do you chase what you do not understand?" "The antelope," Obinna stammered. "I must catch it." The old man shook his head. "That is no ordinary antelope. It is a guardian of this forest, sent to test your heart. You have lied to your people and sought glory without earning it. Turn back now, or face the consequences of your pride." But Obinna was determined. Ignoring the spirit's warning, he pressed on. Soon, he found himself in a trap. A net, hidden among the trees, sprang up and ensnared him. He struggled, but the more he moved, the tighter it became. Hours passed, and Obinna hung there, helpless and alone. In the silence, he began to reflect on his actions. He thought of the elders' warnings, the trust he had broken, and the lies he had told. With tears streaming down his face, he whispered, "I am sorry. If I am freed, I will change. I will be honest and earn my place with honor." The old man's spirit appeared again, his expression softer this time. With a wave of his staff, the net unraveled, and Obinna fell gently to the ground. "You have learned humility," the spirit said. "But your journey is not over." When Obinna returned to the village, he was battered and weary. The villagers gathered around him, eager to hear his tale. But for the first time, Obinna spoke the truth. He told them of the antelope, the challenges he faced, and his encounter with the forest spirit. The villagers were skeptical. "Another of your stories," someone muttered. But just as they began to disperse, a golden light filled the square. The antelope, glowing and majestic, walked into the village. Gasps of awe and wonder rippled through the crowd. The antelope stood before Obinna, its eyes meeting his. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, it vanished, leaving behind a trail of golden light. The elders nodded in approval. "The spirits have spoken," they said. "Obinna has proven his worth." From that day on, Obinna became a different man. He no longer sought glory through lies but earned it through bravery and honesty. The villagers came to respect him not for his tales but for his character. And though the mysterious antelope was never seen again, its light continued to shine in the hearts of the people of Yuman, a reminder of the power of truth and redemption.